begins with a voyage into the future. Please walk toward the model showing what the temple will look like when it is finished. Remember that the Sagrada Família is still under construction. Have you ever been in a church like this one? Take a look around you. Can you see that there are no chapels in aisles and very few statues inside the basilica? The protagonist here is the space itself. This temple's images are located on the outside, and they tell the story of Jesus' life. The architect designed this interior as if it were a huge forest. Nature is an essential influence in the work of Gaudí, so much so that he came to consider it his true master. Notice the columns surrounding you. They look like trees, don't they? Above, they spread out like branches, reaching up to the ceiling. This structure is not merely aesthetic, for the branches are actually supporting the vaulted ceiling. The solution allows the building to reach a great height without the need for the exterior reinforcements characteristic of medieval cathedrals. The combination of aesthetics and efficiency is a defining element of Gaudí's work. We might describe the basilica as a temple of light. The light pours abundantly through the large windows and the skylights set into the vaults. Notice the different colors of the stained glass windows. Those on the Nativity facade feature shades of blue and cooler tones in keeping with the morning light. In contrast, the west-facing windows on the other side are warmer with the orangey hues of sunset. These stained glass windows form part of the Passion facade. The stained glass windows are the work of artist Joan Vilagrau, who followed the guidelines established by Gaudí. Let's head for the crossing now. Do you see these 4 reddish columns? The tallest and thickest in the temple, they are made of porphyry, an extremely resistant type of stone. In the future, these columns will support the Tower of Jesus Christ. Do you remember how tall the tower will be? 172.5 meters. And that number is no coincidence. There's a reason for everything in this basilica. Gaudí wanted the temple's tallest tower to measure slightly less than the nearby mountain of Montjuic. He is quoted as saying that the work of a man should never surpass that of God. On the upper sections of these 4 columns, at the height of the nodes, you will see various symbols. Each column is dedicated to one of the 4 evangelists. The lion represents Mark. The angel is for Matthew. The bull is a symbol for Luke, and the eagle is for John. Inside the temple, we find further references to the Holy Family. Just below the crossing, on the floor, is a mosaic with the initials of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Looking in the direction of the Nativity facade, above the door, we can see a sculpture dedicated to Saint Joseph. On the opposite side, over the door leading to the Passion facade, is a statue of the Virgin Mary. And in the center, above the altar, is the image of the crucified Christ. Above the figure is a large suspended baldachin, inspired by the one Gaudí designed for the Cathedral of Mallorca. It is decorated with ears of wheat and bunches of grapes, symbolizing the bread and wine of the Eucharist. 50 lamps illuminate the space in allusion to Pentecost, which commemorates the descent of the Holy Spirit upon the apostles 50 days after Christ's resurrection. If you raise your eyes just a bit further, you'll find another image. Do you see the gilded triangle below the apse vault? This represents God the Creator. It is set in a skylight shaped rather like two funnels, designed to catch sunlight on one side and disseminate it on the other. Known as a hyperboloid, you can see several examples of this shape along the ceiling. Shows. The temple has a Latin cross ground plan, as is customary in Gothic cathedrals. The short arm of the cross runs from the Nativity facade to the Passion facade and is 60 meters long. The longer arm extends from the Glory facade, where we are now standing, to the apse and is 90 meters long. This gives us our first clear picture of the ground plan of the Sagrada Familia, as the cloister blocks our view from the outside. Gaudí used common sense when designing the cloister. It is enclosed and surrounds the entire structure. This makes it possible to hold processions inside without having to exit the building or cross the nave and aisles. In addition, this solution makes the most of the city block on which the temple stands. The basilica has 5 main sections, the central nave and 2 aisles on either side, and the proportional relationship between them is significant. For example, the distance between each column in the aisles is 7.5 meters. If we multiply this number by 2, we get the width of the nave, 15 meters. And if we double this number yet again, the result is the height of the aisles, 30 meters. The central nave rises to a height of 45 meters, which is another multiple of 7.5. Can you verify these proportions just by looking? The tiered clerestory, or raised galleries that can be seen in the aisles, are reserved for the choir. Here's a curious fact. The dark dots scattered across the railings represent musical notes in the scores of liturgical hymns. Let's turn around now, facing away from the altar. Gaudí devoted much of his life to the construction of the Sagrada Familia. In his final months, he even lived in it. However, he knew quite well that he would not live to see the temple completed. This explains why he left behind so many models and drawings, so that those who continued his work would have instructions to guide them. Since Gaudí's death, many people have invested their time, effort, and talent in the project. Jordi Fauli is currently the chief architect. The Sagrada Familia is indeed one man's dream, but it is also very much a collective effort.